I'm Chris.
I'm Drew.
Now, NBA news. The NBA has not taken a break. So, also, we're recording this as of Friday, so Hawks Sixers series is still to be decided. Clippers Jazz is still to be decided. So, we're just vibing at this point. We're just vibing and figuring stuff out. But honestly, this Nets Bucks series. So, after game five, I was like, oh, KD just lost his mind, had one of the greatest playoff performances we've ever seen. And then game six last night, Chris Middleton and Giannis look like Shaq and Kobe. So at this point, we're all
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what's going to happen. But I'm very excited. But I honestly think Brooklyn, the decision to rush James Harden back is what's biting them in the ass, like severely right now, because he does not look like James Harden. And I get it. I get that you needed him for the series. I get that he brings this gravity and stuff. But again, the 5 points that he had, I mean, I don't even know his stat line last night, but like it didn't seem great. And again, now, mind you, I saw instead that Katie in Game Sevens has like the third highest scoring average ever, with like averaging 33. So who knows? Who knows what this series could bring? Who knows what could happen at the end of the series? Uh, it's just I don't know, because this series, for out of all of them, it feels like the hardest to call. This and the Sixers Hawks series, because when you think that a team has it, like you just it's just weird, you know? It's a
Mhm.
very weird feeling going into a game seven. Where I was like, after game five, I was like, oh yeah, KD's gonna go drop 40 again, and they're gonna go to the conference finals. But now I'm like, anything can happen. So it's crazy.
It's just really, really hard to beat a team with Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday. Like that's really, really tough team. You have a all defensive player. Is Giannis? No, I think
Giannis actually won Defensive Player of the Year, and everybody was frying him because he never guarded KD. He actually did guard KD last night though, so props
yeah.
to that.
You also have Drew Holiday, also all defensive player. Chris Middleton doing his thing. Like that's a hard trio to beat,
Yeah.
honestly. And when you don't have your trio by your side, you just only have Harden, who's not fully healthy because injuries and stuff. It's just really
Mm.
hard to beat that team, and it's hard because it's also hard because you also don't have that supporting cast as well. Like KD dropped 32. I think Harden, even though he's injured, had the next best scoring like 16 or something like that. Everybody else was like 12, and the rest was in the single digits.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to beat a team when you're the only one dropping 30 plus. And like we said, that's the name of the game now. You have to drop 30 at least.
And then have other dudes that can drop 20 consistently. So
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing. But yeah, I'm actually very excited for game seven. Don't know what the future holds for that. Next thing, Hawks Sixers.
How?
ATL, listen, tonight, I know, dude, I would love to just be in Atlanta tonight if they win. Because oh my God, that it's just I know the game's gonna be lit. I know everything about the series has just been fun. And the Sixers, I I called it. I will say I definitely called this on the show where I said I do not trust Doc Rivers. I don't trust Ben Simmons. And what happened? A
Yeah.
26-point lead just poof in the air, vanish. And we're just over here like when you're watching it as a fan, like I honestly like turned off the game. I was like, oh, it's over. Then I saw Lou Williams start cooking. I was like, wait a
Yeah.
second. We got one here. We got one.
Mhm.
And I honestly thought, oh, this is just gonna they're just gonna force overtime and then like something's gonna happen. I'm like, oh no, they won that game, like in convincing fashion. And I think Trey Young again is that dude, and we need to give Trey Young his flowers and stop it with this Luka trade up. Atlanta would have been so much better with. Hey, bro. Hey, hey, they happy with this dude right here because
Trey
that
Young
dude
looks
is leading the troop.
Trey Young is looking better than Luca this year. Just be honest.
Because
Yeah,
I'm sorry, whose coach was fired in the middle of the season? and then he still makes the playoffs and is taking the 1 seed in the conference the distance and can probably win this game.
They
Probably.
can.
They can definitely win this game unless Joel Embiid goes crazy. But like that's literally the Sixers' only hope is that Joel Embiid has like an insane like game.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen because again, a loss like that just crushes your team. Like blowing a
yeah,
26-point lead like that, just
yeah.
anger on the road. And Atlanta's hungry at this point. They got nothing to lose at this point.
It's
So
either yeah, it's a lot of adversity right now for that team. It's either you sink or swim. It's either you turn it up, say nah, that's not gonna happen again, and you're gonna beat them, or you're just gonna let it eat at you, be defeated by it, and take another L. And that's the thing about the NBA playoffs. It doesn't really give you time to change your mood. So if you get defeated by a loss, you're gonna be defeated the next game because the next game is in 2 days.
mm,
In football, you have a week. Not in the playoffs, but at least in the regular season, you have a week to calm your nerves if you lost to the last game, focus on the next one, and come back victorious. But in the NBA, you really have to have a strong mental because if you have a weak mental, that's it.
it's over. And people don't understand that about the game, and nobody ever peeps that. The fact that like Atlanta, this entire playoffs is something that I've just seen. Like they've just been strong and thugged their entire season out. Like I really think, and to come back from down 26 and literally like, and literally the, in Philly, mind you, if Philly was going crazy, like they're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
they're not. And honestly, for Atlanta sports teams, they've had enough memes about them. They've had enough jokes. 28-3 has been beating their ass for the past 5 years. I think that they deserve this one. They deserve it. Every blow lead that the Falcons have had, they deserve this one. So I really hope that they win, and I hope that this series is just as amazing as we think it's going to be. Next,
yeah,
switching gears, we got the Clippers and Jazz. Now, Paul George, Paul George, buddy, my
yeah.
fault, bro. Again, I slandered you. I was talking big crap about you. Said call you playoff P. Nah, bro, you showed up. 37, 16. That entire game. And also Marcus Morris and Reggie Jackson's had a great series, and he's just losing his
They
mind.
have. Yeah,
But I think that dang, like this Clippers team, I'm sick though, because again, as a Lakers fan, you gotta just thug it out and be like, damn, bro, like, and I just have this weird feeling, and this is again not trying to be controversial, not trying to be trendy or whatever, but I'm like, yo, all these players stepped up when they had literally nobody. When their best player went down, there was a game where like one of them at least stepped up. Devin Booker did it. Let's see, Devin Booker did it. Chris Paul, Chris Paul has
yeah,
started this entire playoffs. Literally, who else? Paul George and Katie. Hey, Braun, we needed this. Like you didn't give it to us, and I'm sad because now I
yeah.
know that we're out. But again, the Suns. Whatever is going on with Chris Paul, I hope he's okay. But
Yeah.
I
Oof.
just, I just think this Clippers Jazz series, like it's not what I expected at least. And honestly, with Game 6 in LA, I think they're gonna win. Honestly, at this point, because all the momentum's on the Clippers side, and it was weird though because Utah was shooting like crazy in that first half, and then they just went cold. And then they're making Donovan Mitchell work even harder, and that's why I'm like. And there were times where I would just look, and I like Royce O'Neal's hustle and everything, but I'm like, why is he on the floor? Like you need scoring. Like Jordan Clarkson's right there. I know Jordan Clarkson's liability defensively, but Paul George is like got up. So is Reggie Jackson. Like y'all need to get this. And it was weird though, because every single time we would think, oh, Utah's gonna make a run, Utah's gonna make a run, and then Paul George or Reggie would just do this. And Rudy Gobert just it was a bad game
I
for
don't
him.
like it. I don't like it. I don't know why.
It's because every like people will always guess like, oh, he can't guard on the perimeter. Like no, like they literally like would switch, run, have him just guard like he needs to be guarding only in the paint. Like he needs to be an anchor. Like if he's guarding outside of the paint, they exposed him time
Yeah.
and time and time and time again. And I was just sitting there, and that's props to Ty Lue too, because everybody thinks that he gets by just because of LeBron. Like, no, dude, in that series versus the Mavericks, the fact that they managed to win that after Luka went crazy, the
Right.
fact that like they're up three
There's
two after being dead in the water to the best team in the NBA this season, I want to give Ty Lue his props. But again, with this postseason, this might be the best playoffs we've had it forever.
definitely, definitely.
Because
I just want to
and
see.
everybody wants to say like the injuries and everything, it's a bloodbath. I don't really care because we're getting at least amazing intrigue, and it wasn't like the playoffs we've had of the like past like the 4 year run where we knew it would be LeBron versus the Warriors,
Right.
or even like and then like the Toronto year, yes, but then the bubble. So like there was no intrigue, there was no enjoyment. Now the fans are finally I really think that fans need to realize that, yo, like, we're finally getting what we want, so y'all need to stop hating and be like, oh, this season has an asterisk. It's terrible. All the injuries, all of everything. I'm like,
That's
that's
what makes
the
it
name
good.
of the game,
That's what
first
makes it
off.
because it's like
Yeah.
look at the stories that you were getting out of it. You get a big three in Brooklyn, then all of a sudden two of them get injured. Now, yeah, like I was saying, the injuries are what makes this playoff so great because you have the big three in Brooklyn and two of them go down. Now it's like, can KD finally carry a team to the finals? And we'll see. You know, he always had James Harden. Well, not always. We had James Harden and Westbrook in OKC. Didn't win that. I don't know how with those two, but it is what it is.
That
Then
was just because at the time the general manager was doing like the general manager is still the same general manager is not making up for it now at OKC, but that just was shitty planning.
yeah, so but then he goes to the Warriors with Clay and Curry. That whole super team. Obviously, he's going to win that.
But then it
You know,
ended with injuries, so
right? And now he's in Brooklyn. Had a big three, but that's taken away from him. And now he has a whole bunch of players that have big names, but are kind of at the tail end of their career. So we can see what he's going to do with that. So that's exciting. In the Clippers, Kawhi's down for this game, for this next game six.
he might be out for he might be out for the season. I'm sick because Kawhi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kawhi.
What's going
He
on?
was going crazy. Like he was the best player in the playoffs, other than Chris Paul. So now I'm just like,
Yeah.
damn, bro,
But now we have to figure out, can
Paul George.
Paul George make that Pacers run like he did back in the day, or is he gonna be the same Paul George we saw in the bubble? You know, and with Chris Paul being sick for 2 weeks, can Deep Book hold it down in the conference finals until Chris Paul gets back? That's gonna be another thing.
Mm.
And you also have Trey Young. Can he finish off the 76ers? So there's just a lot of just great stories coming up this year, and I'm just excited for that.
Mm. But what I mostly want from this entire series and this entire thing is I really think regardless of what we're gonna get a good finals. But everybody's just like making memes of it. It's just like, oh my gosh, like Rudy Gobert could win Finals MVP. I'm like, that's not happening. Like Clippers, I really think the Clippers are about to send them shipping at this point because they got all the momentum, and then we got the Suns again. I think that they still can beat. They could because Kawhi. I don't know what's happening with Kawhi, but like they could if the Clippers win that series, they could probably beat the Clippers. So I want some talks personally. Like just based on who's the hottest teams and what I want to see, I want some talks. But again, Milwaukee just showed up, so I don't know what Game Seven is going to be. I'm just glad of just not knowing. The
Yeah,
feeling of not knowing as a fan is the thing that I'm enjoying the most this year because the lack of parity was for real in the NBA. And now that we finally like have this intrigue and this like fear and worry about like what the finals are gonna be, like we haven't had that. I think that the fans are just like kind of doing the most with it. But I'm just happy that like we're not getting the same old. But switching gears, so music again, everybody. We said the summer's gonna be legendary. So we got Doja and Tyler dropping the same night. Now, I was so excited for Planet Her because again, the song she just dropped, Need to Know. Yes, that is one of my favorite songs this entire year. But
Facts, facts.
I just yeah, I'm ready for what she has. But then again, that boy Tyler, listen, listen, and you and me were talking about this like before the show about like how they started off as more like trolls and just like trying to like fit in, and now that they finally do, like you get to see like the pure great artistry that they have, and I think Tyler, to me, out of any artist I've ever seen, has had the greatest like artistic growth that you can
Yeah.
just track from album to album and just tops every single album every single time. And I love, and again, Flower Boy and Igor are two of my favorite albums ever. And I still like Wolf. I still like Cherry Bomb. Like I've always liked Tyler because he's willing to be the different, just always
Mm.
the different person. And again, his his rapping is still amazing. His choice of production is still amazing. So I'm excited for whatever this album's gonna be. Because again, this is just out of the blue. You're just like, oh, okay, this is a quick turnaround. But I'm really excited.
100%. Yeah, I'm very very excited for both of them. I'm more excited for Doja's because I wasn't always a fan of Doja when she came out. I thought the mood thing was funny, but that was funny at best. Then she had that whole little problematic situation with the live chats with the white dudes, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah,
And then also like my ears aren't 100% trained to that more to her style of music, so it took a while for me to really get used to hearing that. But then when she dropped Need to Know, I listened back to her other music. I was like, yo, this is hard. I've been tripping this whole
yeah,
time. So yeah, I'm really excited. And like you said, they both had this story arc of just being this really oddball black sheep in hip hop that nobody really wanted to accept, that everybody thought was controversial. They tried to cancel, but they just kept getting better and better and better. And I think that they're very much they're parallels of each other. You have
mm,
the male version of Doja, and you have the female version of Tyler. You know,
yeah,
and them dropping on the same day is gonna be crazy because they're both unique in their sound. They're both pushing the envelope with rap and what it means to be a rapper. And yeah, that's
it's
simple.
gonna be
It,
tough. And what
yeah.
I also enjoy is the fact that like there's competition now. Like we've been missing this. Like it's weird because I everybody understands that rap is a lot more collaborative. Everybody wants to like collaborate together. Now I want the whole like let's see who outsells the other person. Like I want that. I miss that. You feel me? Like I
Mm.
miss that spirit of rap of just like who's gonna top who. Now I honestly think Doja probably will because she has more of a white pop fan base. But again, it's Tyler. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
after Igor, I'm like, oh, Tyler could do no wrong at this point because he went number one with that on the same day a Khaled album dropped. So that's where I'm at. Like, yo, Ty, you go
One of,
do your thing, dog. So
and this is just think about just June. First we had the Voices of the Hero. Next week we had Polo G and Migos. This week we had her. Next week we have Doja and Ty. Bruh, the 4 weeks,
like
4 weeks.
this has been like after 2020, like 2020 for real was a drought because everybody forgets how 2020 was in music. Like everybody's like, nah, we are here now. Like we are in this moment.
June has to be one of the biggest months of hip hop and R&B.
A long time. Like this is giving me some. This again, like everybody said, like you're gonna get summer 16 vibes this summer, and I'm like, this is that feeling now of just
So
like albums that you're just gonna look back on and be like, damn, bro, like that was crazy. And even still, going into like fall of 2016 too, like there was great albums that were dropping even then. Like that's why I'm just like, yeah, 2021 for music, it hasn't disappointed. For sports, it hasn't disappointed, and I'm just very excited for what we're gonna get. But for real, spill, I kind of wanted to talk about this. This has kind of been something on my mind. The whole Juneteenth thing. Yes, it's a
yes,
national holiday. Hooray, hooray. However, who's ready for those old Navy commercials where they're gonna be like, "Hey, Get a shirt for 3/5 off because of slavery. Yeah. Like, what are we gonna do that? Where are we gonna start being like, hey, remember, hey, we're not selling any cotton products for you guys because we know that was bad. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry for slavery. And then it's like, yo, there's states banning like teaching people about why Juneteenth should exist.
yeah.
And it's like,
It's,
I don't know. I'm glad it's a holiday. I'm glad it's a national holiday. But again, I'm like, yo, white people should work. Like, y'all
yeah.
getting a free day off literally because of the fact that we worked for y'all for free and we're tortured, murdered, beaten, abused.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
I,
But again, it's a win. It's a win. Again, it's always this air
mm,
quote win that we got to get for
um,
progress. And everybody thinks that, oh, yeah, we're progressing. Juneteenth's a national holiday. Get critical race theory and stop cops from killing black people, or actually charge cops for killing black people. That's it. Or just stop them from killing black people. But
yeah.
we got to keep doing this incremental work. But again, I'm
It,
happy it's a holiday. Hooray!
yeah.
But yeah,
It is bittersweet. It is really, really bittersweet because one, we already been celebrating Juneteenth as Black people for a couple years now, so it's nothing new making it a national holiday. I mean, it's cool because the U.S. finally recognizes it as a day of celebration, but we know why they're doing it. Biden has been doing terrible. He hasn't done anything Black people have asked him to do. No bills.
and which states were the major ones filled with poor black
Come
constituents?
on, man. Atlanta won.
Atlanta turned up for you, bro. Atlanta.
Philadelphia in that area won the election for you. Detroit in that area with Michigan won that area for you, bro. And
So
you can easily pass any other bill for any other demographic. But with us,
it's this like, oh no, like we got to take our time with this. We got to da 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 da. It's showing this whole like lesser, this like greater than two evils thing, like this whole two evils thing with like Democrats and stuff. I'm like, fam, it's
yeah,
like it's weird to state my political views because everybody will be like, dude, you're literally a borderline communist. I'm like, yeah, I am because honestly, I'm like this this whole system ain't working because ain't no damn reason why I like when you work certain jobs, and I think that people, especially like white leftists or white people who are like really far on the left, have issues understanding. It's like, bro, black people are literally the theories that y'all think y'all know about. Like y'all literally about, hey, do y'all know about the wage income disparity? And I'm like, I'm black. Like I'm literally experiencing everything that you guys theorize about and write papers about. Like this is my life, and I don't think people get that. And that's the one thing that I just see like honestly, and everybody's like, you can't let capitalism win. Where I'm like, bro, at this point, we can't fully eradicate. Everybody's like, it's fatalist to think you can't fully eradicate it, bro. They literally decided that to make a holiday. They decided to make a national holiday to commodify what it means to be black and truly free. So, what are our options here? And they still are not teaching kids about racism, and they're still willing to let us die at the hands of police. So,
man.
at this point, what are we gonna? Everybody's like, we can rebel, we can change the world. And I'm like, all right. But then who's to say y'all our world's better? Who's to say that? And again, I believe that it could be with everybody's theories and everybody's practices and listening to black women and just black people in general. However, the whole skin folk ain't our kinfolk thing is still here. I this thing called life is too damn short. So at this point, you got to stack my chips, die, get my wife, get my kids, chill on an island, and just vibe. Because like there's some points where you gotta be like where you're black and you're just like, damn, this shit is ass. But honestly, the vibes are immaculate. So you gotta just vibe with it and understand. I understand what we mean to the world and the country and the culture and just and literally like I saw this TikTok and it was wonderful. And again, I really want to credit the creator, but I don't have her name up right now. But she said being ghetto is literally is untreated black work.
Mhm.
So just say the fact that like every single trend now is recycled black culture from the 90s now. Like when it comes to the whole streetwear wave where everybody's like trying to like wear baggy clothes and like look more
Yeah,
thuggish, like we've been doing that shit.
yeah.
Y'all just want to be us now. So again, at this point, it is what it is.
But it is, yeah, it's just a bittersweet holiday. Um, I don't know, man. It's just, but I just hate the way the U.S. government went about it. Like y'all unanimously vote for that to be a holiday, but y'all can't
Actually, no,
unanimously,
there were 12 Republicans who were like, nah, we good.
or almost unanimous,
Yeah,
unanimous. Oh, however you say the word, I can't say it right now.
unanimous,
Yeah,
unanimous. God damn it, now you got me fucking it up. Shit.
unanimous. Yes, but y'all can't do the same thing to protect actual lives. It makes
Citizens,
then on top of that, y'all gonna sing, lift every voice and sing
like,
after you.
it was trash, bro. Like, ain't no soul, ain't no rhythm. You need to feel that, bro. Come on, bro.
And then
It'll be
like I don't know, I feel like Democrats are the most out of touch political party because they think that they're fooling us. Like we see it, bro. We see it. We see
at
all the
least we
people.
know what Republicans where they stand out. They're just like, hey, we don't like you. Like, I'm like,
Yeah, it's just blunt
all
with it.
right, that's fair. You know, at
But
least
yeah,
we know.
all these antics that Democrats have been pulling probably since the '60s, we're finally catching up to, and we're seeing it, and it's just not looking good for them in the future. And I don't know. We just need change, some type of political change. I don't know how, but we got to figure it out. 100%.
But again, I am just ready for honestly. But again, I'm a 19-year-old just trying to make it by, trying to get through life at this point, and I need and to exist in this country, I need money, and with money, like that will give me the power. So again, I can't
Yeah.
just. I, it's a sucky system, but you know what? You got to still live on the rock. Like you can scream from the mountaintops of how terrible the rock sucks, but you gotta adjust to the system and pimp it to your advantage. So that's what
Right.
we trying to do. That's what a bunch of young black kids are trying to do now, and we're trying to tell our stories. But anyway, uh next week we're gonna like review and kind of preview the conference finals at this point because most of the series should have been wrapped up.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Her's album, what we thought about that, and just a bunch of other stuff. But again, I've been Chris.
I'm Drew.
All right, peace.
Peace, y'all.